Good morning and welcome. I am the Reverend Eileen Wiviot. It's good to be with you today. Whether the Unitarian Church of Evanston is your spiritual home or you are seeking comfort and connection in uncertain times, we are grateful that you are with us. We are an inclusive and welcoming community seeking truth and love and striving to nurture the human spirit for a world made whole. We are guided by our principles and values, which remind us in every moment and through every challenge that each of us matters and that we are all connected through the vast and beautiful web of existence. Together, let us remember our oneness, our kinship with one another, and may we hold one another in heart and mind with tenderness and careful attention. There are many links of connection in the comments section below, including credits for all the readings, to virtual religious education for donations, and to be added to our email newsletter list. We're especially hopeful that newcomers to our community will sign in and let us know that you're here so that we can keep in touch. A few announcements. Today, the search committee hosts coffee hour after this service to share the conclusions from their process. Please join them. You can find the link in the comments section below. It's the same coffee hour link. And you can also get to that through our newsletter. Our Mitten Tree Holiday Giving Program, a 30-year tradition, continues, and our partners are counting on us more than ever. We are hoping to fill 229 requests and have committed to 74 to date. If you are so moved, please make sure to claim mittens today through the Mitten Tree Sign-Up Genius. As many gifts will be purchased online this year, we must be sure to allow extra time for shipping. And December is right around the corner. This year, we are supporting clients at 3 very special organizations. Sarah's Circle is opening 38 units of permanent housing for women experiencing homelessness. Connections for the Homeless here in Evanston is serving more clients than ever through this pandemic, and the residents of Rice Child and Family Center is looking forward to our thoughtful gifts every year. You can learn more about these organizations on the church website, where you can also find the link to sign up. Please reach out to Bridget Wild if you need assistance or would like to donate to the General Purchasing Fund. We are planning our virtual Christmas pageant this year for December 20th, and we would love for you to be involved. Please check the newsletter for a link to sign up to play one of the parts of the pageant. The link is also in the information below. And the Interfaith Thanksgiving service is happening this Wednesday. We hope that you will join us. That link is also in the comments below. And now I invite you to get your chalices ready. And we also invite you to have a morsel of something nourishing and tasty nearby as part of our bread communion later. It doesn't have to be bread. Set a place for yourself and your family as we join in beloved community. This is our opening reading by Rabbi Rami M. Shapiro, author, educator, and speaker on liberal Judaism and contemporary spirituality. Let us give thanks for wonder. Let us give thanks for the wonder of life that infuses all things now and forever. Blessed is the source of life, the fountain of being, the wellspring of goodness, compassion, and kindness from which we draw to make for justice and peace. From the creative power of life, we derive food and harvest. From the bounty of the earth and the yields of the heavens, we are sustained and are able to sustain others. All life is holy, sacred, worthy of respect and dignity. Let us give thanks for the power of the heart to sense the holy in the midst of the simple. We eat not simply to satisfy our own appetites. We eat to sustain ourselves in the task we have been given. Each of us is unique, coming into the world with a gift no other can offer, ourselves. We eat to nourish the vehicle of giving. We eat to sustain our task of world repair, our quest for harmony, peace, and justice. We eat and we are revived, and we give thanks to the lives that were ended to nourish our own. May we merit their sacrifice and honor their sparks of holiness through our deeds of loving kindness. We give thanks to the power that makes for meeting, for our table has been a place of dialogue and friendship. We give thanks to life. May we never lose touch with the simple joy and wonder of sharing a meal. Welcome to worship. Uh-oh, you're muted. Muted, muted, muted.
Vickie, Wendy, and Julie Deebly light this chalice in northern Illinois on the traditional homelands of the Council of the Three Fires, the Odawa, Ojibwe, and Potawatomi nations. Many other tribes, such as the Miami, Menominee, Ho-Chunk, Sac, and Fox, also call this area home. We name these in honor and respect. Please join me in saying the words on your screen, written by Nick Wilborn, a congregant and worship leader at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville, Alabama. We gather here today to share and give thanks, to tell stories and break bread and be together in holy communion. We light our chalice this morning in the spirit of thanksgiving, with love, hope, and generosity of spirit, grateful for this blessed opportunity to be together. Please join in saying the words of our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Please join in singing hymn number 349, We Gather Together, with words written by Bobby Ruby, a former member of this congregation and our choir.
We gather together in joyful thanksgiving for earth's store of plenty from land, sky, and sea.
Our Time for All Ages today is Fry Bread by Kevin Noble Maillard and illustrated by Juana Martinez Neal. Kevin Noble Maillard is a writer, contributing editor to the New York Times, professor of law at Syracuse University, and an enrolled citizen of the Seminole Nation. Juana Martinez Neal is a Peruvian-born picture book maker and a Caldecott Honor recipient. Fry bread is food. Flour, salt, water, cornmeal, baking powder, perhaps milk, maybe sugar. Fry bread is shape. Hands mold the dough, flat like a pancake, round like a ball, or puffy like Nana's soft pillow. Fry bread is sound. The skillet clangs on the stove. The fire blazes from below. Drop the dough in the skillet. The bubbles sizzle and pop. Fry bread is color. Golden brown, tan, or yellow. Deep like coffee, sienna, or earth. Like the snow and cream. Warm like rays of sun. Fry bread is flavor. Feed beans or soup, smell tacos, cheese, and vegetables, delight in honey and jam, rise to discover what brings us together. Fry bread is time on weekdays and holidays, supper or dinner, powwows and festivals, moments together with family and friends. Fry bread is art. Sculpture, landscape, portrait, our daily craft, shared from teacher to student, a cycle of heritage and fortune. Fry bread is history. The long walk, the stolen land, strangers in our own world. With unknown food, we made new recipes from what we had. Fry bread is place. Alaska, Kansas, all the way to Maine, down to Delaware, on to Georgia, over to Oklahoma, Colorado, and California, cities and lands we call home. Fry bread is nation. Abenaki, Apache, Arapaho, Ojibwe, Onondaga, Oglala, Sioux, Narragansett, Navajo, Nipmuc, Seminole, Shoshone, Sac, and Fox, hundreds and hundreds of tribes. Fry bread is everything. Round, flat, large, small, north, south, east, west, brown, yellow, black, white, familiar and foreign, old and new, we come together. Fry bread is us. We are still here, elder and young, friend and neighbor. We strengthen each other to learn, change, and survive. Fry bread is you.
Gratitude for this feast before us. The harvest is abundant. Gratitude for all gathered here. Our diversity makes us stronger. Gratitude for work and its rewards, and the chance to be of service. Gratitude for the earth and all therein, and the web of life that sustains us. Deep gratitude for loved ones near and far, and for those who came before us. The promise of living, with hope and thanksgiving, is born of our sharing, our love and our caring. Amen.
Got to remember to unmute. These are the joys and sorrows that have been submitted through the Google form found on the homepage of our website. Alternatively, you can send an email to me or to Reverend Susan Francis. We hold the family of Kay Wade, a member of this congregation for many years, who died this week after her struggle with pancreatic cancer. We hold Kay's children and grandchildren in our hearts as they grieve. Kay was grateful for the many cards and emails sent to her in her final months. From William Phillips, a celebratory thought for the life and career of Jan Morris, who died Friday at the age of 94. She was a brilliant writer, an exemplary human being, and a wonderful representative of, as well as spokesperson for, the transgender community. Her work will remain well worth a read. From Lee and Jane Banner, they are sad that they are not on the train to Utica right now to be with their daughter, son-in-law, and grandchild. Kristen Larson is so happy to report that Craig has begun walking without the use of a walker, but still requires hands-on assistance. We are facing a difficult choice with home health care ending this coming week. Craig is scheduled to start outpatient day rehab 3 times a week at Shirley Ryan Ability Lab. But we are concerned about Craig being in public at the height of the pandemic. Telehealth is an option, but not ideal given Craig's needs. We are open to hearing people's experiences and opinions about how we can advance Craig's recovery, keep him and them both safe, and not add much more to Kristen's plate. Prayers and support for Jordan Strieber as they continue to suffer physical and emotional pain, not only from a misdiagnosed medical condition, but from a medical system that does not understand or respect trans and non-binary patients. Tony Ray shares the joy of 2 great grandchildren. Dimitri is 6 months old and Alice is 1 week old. Even during a pandemic, miracles happen. And also, I want to add a happy birthday to Andy Fisher, who turned 70 today. Happy birthday, Andy. We know that these are not the only joys and sorrows that are on our hearts. Let us take a moment of quiet now to read to ourselves the joys and sorrows that have been added to the chat. We hold these together in care and tenderness. And I invite you to say aloud the names of those who you are holding in your heart, those who are sick or have died, as we let their names gather on the winds to be held in this community that knows no walls. Together, we expand our celebrations and we lessen the burden of our grief. Please join me in the spirit of prayer and meditation. Spirit of abundant life, source of infinite love, we pray for comfort and courage for those who are struggling. May we each have and discover what we need to carry on through the challenges ahead. May those who are in pain or sick find resilience and be released from suffering. May those who are lonely and afraid know peace. May those who are without a home or enough to eat be safe and sheltered and nourished. Fill us with gratitude for all that we do have. Help us to cultivate and protect our joy, for it is our resilience. Remind us to care for one another, to practice the labor of love and building the beloved community. Amen.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
UCE remains a vital part of the world and our community. And because we continue to need one another in the blessings of community, we take this time to invite you to give to our shared plate. Today's offering will be shared with the Brennan Center, whose mission is to defend democracy, reform justice, and protect the Constitution. You can text to give, send in a check, or give from the website. If you send in a check, please indicate in the memo line if your check is for the shared offering, pledge, capital campaign, or some other giving. Please give as generously as you are able, and may what you give bring you joy.
Today, we celebrate those who have decided to join the Unitarian Church of Evanston. Brennan Baker, Brianna Rotter, Rafael Hernandez, Stacy Keenal, Sean Isles, and Jane Worcester.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, come, come, whoever you're leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yes, and whoever you're leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come yet again, come.
And truth seekers, am I on? Okay, good. You join us as meaning makers and truth seekers. Your presence among us makes us stronger, more vibrant, and beautiful. This is not the beginning of your belonging here, but it is an important moment on your journey, which we honor now. You have participated in membership classes, you've pledged a financial commitment to the church, and agreed to sign the membership book when we are able to meet in person again. Taking these practical steps has helped prepare you to be a part of this beloved community, and we hope that your sense of belonging and spiritual meaning continues to deepen among us.
Along with the freedom of Unitarian Universalism and the rewards of membership, there are responsibilities. Most importantly, each of us is responsible for bringing the gift of ourselves to this community to the best of our abilities. We strive to give of our time, talent, and treasure, as well as to receive the gifts of others with open hearts and minds. We ask you to join us in the search for truth and meaning, in friendship and through mutual challenge and support. Because our covenant is renewed and remade by your joining today, we say these words, drawn from our covenant of engagement, to welcome you, our newest members, into the Unitarian Church of Evanston.
In service of our mission to nurture the human spirit for a world made whole, the members of the Unitarian Church of Evanston create a community of joy and hope, cultivating this ground and sowing seeds of a better world.
Will the UCE members please join me in saying the words on your screen? Through fuller and deeper relationships with ourselves and each other, together we strive to clarify, strengthen, and live our values, celebrate and honor life and its mysteries through words, music, art, laughter, and tears. Learn and grow spiritually and religiously by nurturing and challenging ourselves and each other. Make the world a better place with the inspiration and support we find in each other and in our Unitarian Universalist values. And embody our liberal religious tradition and carry it into the future for ourselves and our children.
Will the new members please join me in saying, "Toward these ends we covenant to speak and listen with open hearts and minds, be kind and gracious, understanding our limits and those of others, share and encourage others to share abilities and responsibilities for the operation of the church and its work in the larger community, practice curiosity and willingness to learn, and practice resilience and perseverance wherever we engage."
No. Adam, can you go back? Okay, they could hear you. All right. So together, we join all together in saying, Together
we are
the
Unitarian Church of Evanston.
We
We
promise to always
keep
keep
our
our hearts
open
open to
to
one another and
and
to
to
all
all
those
those
who
who
are,
are, even
now, on their way.
on their way. We are enriched by your presence among us. We congratulate you and welcome you into membership in the Unitarian Church of Evanston. May you continue to grow in love and kinship among us. Our anthem today is Grateful, a love song written by musicians Nemo Patel and Daniel Namod, who brought together dozens of people from around the world to create this beautiful, heart-opening melody. Inspired by the 21-day gratitude challenge, the song is a celebration of our spirit and all that is a blessing in life.
You're my life, you're my breath, you're a smile, you're my guest. You're the earth, you're the sun, you're the grass, you are love. You're my hands, you're a bug, you're my eyes, you're a hug. You're the light in the dark, you're the spark, you are fun. You're my mom, you are water, you're the stars, you're my daughter. You're my friend till the end, you're my dreams, you're my father. You're the ants on the ground, the miracles that surround. I'm feeling it all around, the hemisphere in the clouds. You're my pain, you're my sorrow, you're my hope for tomorrow. You're the strength when I'm hollow, you're the path that I follow. You're the blessings that exist, the small things that are bliss. The gift to realize that everything
All
is a
that
gift.
I am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all, for it all. Grateful for it
You're the blessings every time I try to count. You're the lessons that I learn every time I turn around. You're the water when I'm burned every time I think I found everything I'm looking for. You're the sign saying stop to take a bow and keep moving forward and start looking towards your heart. It'll open all the doors and only then you'll start to hear the world singing chorus with your mind and heart. Aligned in purpose, everything
all
will feel
that I
gorgeous.
am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all.
Every day I sit and pray cause what I have is more than I deserve or could ever imagine. How do I give back to all of this magic and spread the love so everybody can have it? Doesn't matter if I'm rich or poor, if I got a family or if I'm all alone. Bad things happen, I can just complain and moan. But there's a million things that I can be grateful for.
So I lift up my hands now, and I open my heart, and my gratitude goes out to everything near and far. All that I am,
Everything I am and everything I see, everything I hope and everything I dream, everything I dream, everything I feel, and everything I be. I'm grateful for it all. It's amazing. Everything I am and everything I see, everything I hope and everything I dream, everything I feel and everything I be. I look deep down and feel all the blessings. Everything I am and everything I see, everything I hope and everything I dream, everything I feel and everything I be. I'm grateful for it all. It's amazing. You're the blessings that exist, the small things that are bliss, the gift to realize that everything is a gift.
Wait, one more. This is for y'all.
All that I am.
All that I've been, it's a blessing.
It's so amazing.
I am grateful
I'm glad you all enjoyed that. It brings a smile and tears to my eyes every time I watch it. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 through 8. For everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. This is a season of gratitude. It is a time to be thankful, to comfort and connect with loved ones. It is also, strangely, a time to refrain from embracing. If ever there was a time of contradictions and dissonance, this is it. In this time when so much is broken and in need of healing, we look to what is familiar to soothe our frayed nervous system. One of my creature comforts of late has been watching past seasons of the Great British Baking Show. I love it because it involves the absolute lowest possible stakes with the highest emotional investment. The winner of the 10-week contest gets a plate. Yet there are lots of earnest tears along the way with absolutely zero backstabbing or cutthroat competitiveness. The bakers are nice and supportive of one another all along the way, which is deeply refreshing and satisfying. I haven't made yeasted bread in many years, but I very much enjoy watching other people mix, knead, and bake dough, and I love to eat it. Since my daughter Mabel was diagnosed with celiac disease a few years ago, I'm super aware that not everyone can tolerate gluten, but we're grateful for the multitude of gluten-free flours and products that enable us to break bread together as a family. When quarantine began, lots of people got on the sourdough bandwagon, including Bridget Wild, who responded to my call for bread recipes and photos with a string of images of different loaves and bagels. She shared that the sourdough starter she received has been a companion for the whole pandemic. Her best friend got it from a chef and gave her a portion amid the April lockdown, along with feeding instructions and a single recipe. Bridget has been working with it since, learning which steps are actually important to the quality of the bread. It has been the purest of hobbies, she wrote, learning when it's ready to bake, listening to when it needs to be fed, even if it's not a time that she needs bread or has time to bake it. Bread is life. Among the most ancient forms of sustenance across cultures and religions, bread means abundance and hospitality and generativity. Bread requires a chemical reaction between the four main ingredients: flour, water, yeast, and salt. Kneading aids this reaction and strengthens the chemical bonds of the gluten. The dough must proof, as they say on the Great British Baking Show. When the timing is right and the bread has been worked and proofed and baked well, it can be shared in the most mundane and the most sacred of sacraments, feeding our bodies. Bread is simple and convenient, yet it is enriched with meaning. Bread is the centerpiece of what Christians consider the most holy of rituals. When consumed, many Christians understand the bread of the Eucharist as transformed into the true body of Christ. This is not my theology, nor is it for most Unitarian Universalists. Our communions are about celebrating the bonds of community and the power of our collective commitments. Yet there is something beautiful about bread communion, about a simple dough being worked and shaped and waited on, and by these processes transformed into something holy. It's easy to miss the magic, to overlook the joy, to take for granted the wonder of our bodies being nourished by the gifts of the earth transformed through our own hands. The greatest reason to celebrate this magic is that it connects us to each other. A shared meal, breaking bread together, is the most essential form of human connection. Sitting at a common table, swapping recipes, tasting the same delicious foods made year after year, passed down through generations and across heaping plates. Communal meals are intrinsic threads woven through the tapestries of our lives. Holiday meals and traditions have deep meaning. They connect us to the cycles of life, remind us to celebrate that we are bound to one another and the earth through our common lived experience of having these bodies which need nourishment. Friends, it is no small thing that we can't sit at a common table this year and break bread with one another. Many of us are brokenhearted that we can't spend Thanksgiving with extended family or friends. Others may be at peace, even slightly relieved with the simplicity and quiet of this year. For all of us, this year of waiting, of proofing, of tending to the fragile bonds of relationship has been very trying. My prayer for all of us is that we continue to work on the essential connections of community, as tenuous as those connections may feel. We will be together again. We will return to shared spaces. We will see each other's smiles again. We will be able to hug again. We will sit once again at a communion table and break bread. If we can hold on a little while longer, perhaps this can be a time of needed rest, of building up our strength and fortifying us with gratitude for the resilience we hold within us. In the beloved community, we work, we wait, and we rise together, proving ourselves to be the people who can nourish and sustain. We break things down and we reshape them. We listen for what is needed and we respond, not usually in our preferred time, but on creativity's time, the time of the elements. We can't force things to be ready before they are. If we are patient, what comes will be delicious, nourishing, and will feed multitudes. Many of you responded to my call for recipes, stories, photos, and videos about bread and breaking bread. There's a link to a list of the recipes and stories that some of you shared, which you can find below. It'll also be on our website and in the coming newsletter. For now, here is a video compilation for our 2020 bread communion. Not at all the same, but hopefully it will satisfy a bit of the hunger for community.
Hello everyone, I'm Carolyn.
I'm Chloe.
And I'm Isabella.
And I'm Jared, we're the Toporics, and this is a chocolate babka bread. It is an Eastern European Jewish pastry that my parents used to buy when I was a kid. And as we became a family, we started making it for ourselves. And we would love to be able to share this with you guys, and we're thinking of you, and we miss Unitarian Evanston.
I'm Tom Hempfling. In our house, we love bread. What we currently have is split-top semolina from Jewel. Notice the sesame seeds on the top part of the crust. This is very good. It goes especially well with the Jewel ham salad, with hard salami from the nearby village market, or just plain. Now, if you will excuse me, I'm going to have some.
Nearly everyone in the immediate Griebler family is gluten intolerant, which has made breaking bread together a challenge. Pumpkin bread, long a family favorite back when the children were little, was the first recipe I successfully mastered with gluten-free flour. And pumpkin is such a quintessentially North American fruit, thank you Mexico, and somehow seems to reflect the very American melting pot immigrant heritage of our family. Irish, English, Polish, German, French, Swedish, and I'm sure more. Having tasty options for people who can't safely eat traditional bread is a real source of gratitude for me.
I have a family story that involves all of us working together to make some Christmas wreaths, edible ones. Our household consisted of 5 of us: my mother's mother, my mother and father, my older brother, these were his high school years, and little me, from about ages 5 to say 11. We worked much of the day on December 24th to bake, decorate, and deliver about 6 to 8 of these Swedish tea ring holiday wreaths. After they were finished in the afternoon, my grandmother stayed home while the 4 of us delivered the wreaths to the 5 to 7 families of our best friends in the village or nearby farms, for them to have with their breakfast on Christmas Day. You'll notice that we left one of the wreaths at home for us to have for our own holiday breakfast. For these several years, it was one project each year on which the whole family collaborated. To show our love to the 5 or 6 families who were our closest friends, as well as sharing warm and loving experience together as a family. And I should add that when we first started doing this, there was a big pot of my grandmother's famous chili cooking away all day while we did the work on the tea rings to take to our friends. And that was preserved as a tradition, and that went on for the next 60 years. My mother always made and I was usually home helping her, a big pot of chili for us to have on Christmas Eve until she was 97 years old and had to move to assisted living.
Buttermilk biscuits are a Sunday morning favorite in our house.
They remind me of my childhood in northern Florida. For other holidays, we might make Grandma's orange cookies, Swedish lussekatter, or pierogi.
When we make these recipes, we learn about the people and places that make us who we are.
When Reverend Eileen started talking about this, what floated up to my mind was a thing called a kolache. And this is not the Polish cookie. This is kind of like a Czech Danish. And the reason it's important to me is in 1974, when I was a freshman in high school, I moved to a brand new town and knew nobody. So one of the ways that I got involved was, of course, clubs and drama club and Earth Day Club and athletics. But all those things had fundraisers. And in my day, that meant bake sales. Because what was most popular at these bake sales were these kolaches, and there was a whole range of them. So I took it on as one of my tasks to learn how to make these things. And my mom was a pretty good baker, so she helped me out. So I have very fond memories of her going the extra mile to help me learn how to make these so that I would fit in a little bit more. And so when I really want to have a special bread or Danish, I make those kolaches. And I'm planning on sharing it with my daughter this year during the winter holidays.
I raised my son, Eric Vigil, to be a joyful, inclusive Unitarian. He followed his own spiritual path and became a Lutheran in his wife's church in Iowa. Among his services to his church community is that he bakes the community's communion bread. And he has found that the tastiest bread is made with honey imported from the Holy Land by Muslim shopkeepers here in Skokie and baked in his Iowa City kitchen. And that is how he has ecumenical communion bread.
Many people are familiar with the conventional Christian practice of the Eucharist, but few people are familiar with Gnostic Eucharistic practices. While there is no single Gnostic practice of the Eucharist, many similarities among Gnostic traditions can be found. Personally, I practice in the Simonian Gnostic tradition, which follows the teachings of Simon Magus. The Simonian tradition holds that we are all already divine beings, so we don't need to become divine. We don't need to become what we already are. Rather, we need to open our spiritual eyes and see what already exists right here, right now, within us. The Simonian Eucharist uses the same elements as a conventional Christian ritual, the bread and the wine. However, these symbols are understood differently. One can use whatever elements one chooses. The important thing is that the elements be meaningful to you. These could be bread and wine, nuts and water, cookies and milk, or really anything else. From the Simonian perspective, you can and you should conduct the ritual yourself. You are a divine being. God, or whatever your ultimate reality is, literally sees the world through your eyes. We are all a part of the divine scattered among all that exists. As a result, you do not need a priest to administer the sacrament. You are your own priest. In fact, you are the divine itself.
Thank you to all those who contributed to that. That was so much fun for me to put together. As we conclude our service, I invite you now to take your bread or your morsel or your smackerel of food that you have with you. Hopefully, you have something nearby. And as we break bread virtually together, imagine and know that we are united across the distance, connected by our need for one another and our reliance on the earth. Let the food we eat now serve as a symbol of the nourishment of community. May it fill us with the nutrients of mutual care and respect. Let it sustain our commitment to making the world whole.
As Vickie, Wendy, and Julie extinguish the chalice, please join in saying the words on your screen. Though the flame is extinguished, we carry with us the warmth of community, the light of truth, and the fire of commitment until we are together again. Please join in singing hymn 1010, We Give Thanks.
We give thanks for this precious day. We give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
Our benediction is from Marcia Falk, poet, author, artist, and Judaic scholar. A prayer for the Sabbath. Let us bless the source of life that brings forth bread from the earth. Let us acknowledge the source of life for the earth and for nourishment. May we protect the earth that it may sustain us, and let us seek sustenance for all who inhabit the world. Go in peace. Go well fed, friends. See you soon.